All right. Okay, so we are officially recording. All right. Well, we are actually starting our brand new season of the Career Readiness Course Video Podcast series. Today, we are fortunate enough to bring back one of our own UCM alumni, Myles Vann. He actually took our Career Readiness course, back in 2017, I think, 2018, somewhere in there.
Yeah, somewhere.
I can't remember. I know you were in a really small class. And he's kept in touch with me. I followed him on LinkedIn, always kind of hearing about what's going on in his life. And one of my favorite CRC alum for sure that I've been able to keep in touch with. So we've brought him today to talk with us about side hustling or, being an entrepreneur. And he's going to tell us a little about his side hustle / own business that he has. We also have Joni Porter here with us, our employee relations coordinator here in the office, who actually has a side hustle herself. So it's like the perfect pairing for all of you that are interested in this potential opportunity for yourself. So first, Myles, we want you to just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you, and maybe even a little bit of experience about UCM or anything like that.
Well, I graduated from the University of Central Missouri December of 2019. So I was the last person to kind of have a graduation before the pandemic happened. So I know that was a whole completely different switch that I guess I didn't have to get used to. I majored in communication studies and public relations. And so after I graduated, kind of spent some time searching for jobs, though I started searching for jobs probably back September of 2019 before I graduated. But I didn't actually land anything till March of 2020. I actually started my job a week before the pandemic, working in real estate, working in their marketing department.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we want to know a little bit about your backstory of the side hustle piece. Like, you obviously started a job in March. Like, how did the photography stuff come about?
Photography really started back in high school. I went to Lee Summit Tech for video and audio production. Originally, I thought I wanted to do more in video, but it was a little bit more complicated than I thought it was going to be. So I really kind of stuck more into photography. And I ended up getting my first camera in 2014, 15, right before I came to UCM. So I just kind of started as a hobby. I didn't really expect it to land anywhere. I kind of did, some people's graduation photos, just kind of like $25, $50, and just just trying to make some side money just to hang out and be with friends. But eventually it was like, okay, well, here's another opportunity for me to invest more money in myself. And if I decide to invest in myself, especially when it comes to cameras, some people probably know how expensive that hobby can be. And if you choose to invest, you have to keep it going. You're going to have a harder time trying to get your money back, if it's like, okay, this didn't work out for me. So I really just kept it going throughout my whole college experience. I think the biggest semester that I've had doing grad photos was probably about 15 to 20, somewhere in there. And so I've traveled. I've been to Mizzou. I've been to a couple of schools in St. Louis, Springfield, of course, UCM, UMKC, KU, Northwest, and MoWest. So honestly, the whole Missouri area, and the tail end being in St. Louis. So
that's awesome.
It was something I never really expected, but I just kind of kept it going.
That's incredible. Joni, how did you start your side? Like, how did it come about tell us about your side hustle?
Okay, so my side hustle, my sister and I have a side business of upcycling furniture. It started out with, we both had a couple of family heirlooms that we just wanted to restore. One was a little table my dad had built in high school. And so I really wanted to bring that back to life. It was in pretty rough shape. So we both took a class and learned how to do that. That was in 2019. And so we we took the class, we did a couple more pieces of furniture. We decided we were going to start a little booth in an antique shop. And then we started another booth in a little antique shop. And then we moved to a bigger booth. And then we started selling the paint, not only doing furniture, but doing the paint too. And it's kind of like you, Myles, what we really learned is that you really do have to keep investing, and I think that that's something people really need to plan for if they're starting as either a side hustle or their own business, is that you do, just when you think you're getting ahead, you are going to have to reinvest in something.
Yeah.
So, it's a slow grow for sure, but it is fun, and you do grow and you do make a little money, and, it's very rewarding as well as a great little side gig. So yeah, that's how I got started.
That's awesome. Wow. I mean, I feel like I would not have time to do a side hustle right now because my kids just take up so much of my time. But I have a lot of friends that do have side hustles, like with their busy lives. It is, especially if it's something you're passionate about, like you're going to make the time for it. So I think that's awesome that both of you have that.
I'm sure that your photography plays well into your current position too in the real estate business.
Yeah, so that kind of led into more things. I wasn't so experienced with actually using drones, and so being in real estate, doing a little bit more video, along with the investing and growth, just like you said, is stepping into bounds that you never thought you would do before. Because I found videos not really necessarily fun, I guess, or just kind of more complicated than I thought, but just spending more time with it and learning to grow, and also just kind of keeping up with current trends. And so being in real estate, using drone work to show, how can you make a building or an open plot of land look appealing to somebody,
right?
That's looking to, to build something to make their new home for a job. So it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of growth. Sometimes it's taking steps back and realizing, okay, well, what did I do well this season? What did I do? What do I need to improve upon? So, because I feel like one of my greatest accomplishments, at least while I was at UCM, was one of my videos went viral. It actually caught the eye of Beyonce. It ended up on Beyonce's Instagram page, on her Instagram story, when they're doing the "Before I Let You Go" challenge.
Wow.
So a portion of that video made it on her Instagram page. I felt like that was a highlight of
a peak
my life. Yeah.
Wow. I feel like I maybe remember that.
It was I think I still have the video. But when it landed on the page, I think we tried to tag UCM, and we got Sam. I believe at that point in time, it was Sam involved, that works in the marketing department up there at school. And so they actually reposted or said even Beyonce is a fan of the mule or something like that. So that was really
That's so cool.
That is cool.
Wow. That's awesome. All right. Joni?
Yeah, so tell us about some of the obstacles that you face, some of the challenges that you face. I know some of them that I've faced, but I'd love to hear about what you have.
Sometimes I think it would have to come down to time sometime excuse me. If I could restart that question, sorry.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a cut moment. Obstacles, I believe it comes down to time, having enough time to do it all. At that point in time, either being in school or having a full-time job, devoting all that extra time after 4 p.m. when you get off work, 5 p.m. when you get off work, to doing client work and trying to schedule your weekends, because when you work 8 to 4, no one really wants to, during the week, no one wants to really have a shoot. So in that case, your weekends back to back are always busy, especially with grad season. I could have like 3 or 4 different grads a day. One time I started here in Kansas City at UMKC, went up to Mo West, and then finished at UCM. So I'm like, that's a busy day and full of driving.
Yeah.
it's having the time and with that, not also just taking the pictures, but also editing the photos. I mean, you could go through a whole shoot and take really as many as you want to, but I'll probably end up with a good 200 something choices to go through at the end of the night.
Yeah.
And trying to keep everybody, okay, well, not only the people that I shot today, but the people I shot last week or even the week before that. So a lot of it comes down to time management. Time management is the biggest obstacle.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, that's some of the challenges on mine too, is just having the time to get everything done. Painting pieces takes a while, you know, and then the curing time, and then getting them from one place to the other, and looking for new inventory, you know, all of that stuff is time consuming. And so that definitely is something entrepreneurs need to think about is, you know, do they have the time to invest? Are they willing to give up personal time, you know, to make their dream work? So definitely those are a lot of challenges I face too. So I feel you.
So, okay. So my question for you, it's kind of it's not on our list, but so you talk a lot about doing grad photos. Do you do any other types of photos besides grad, or is that like your main business, like your clients?
Grads was really what kind of started it and kept it going, because grads are every single semester. Someone's graduating every single semester. So that's what really started it. I've gotten a more grads is definitely still portraiture work, but when it comes down to more like I've done family, I've done commercial work. Right now I've worked with a company called Vann. And so essentially what they do is they bring communities together, neighborhood apartments, bring them those residents together, and they learn how to cook together. They'll go swimming together. They'll have parties, Christmas parties, Thanksgiving, just come together. And just so you know who lives around you. So I've done commercial. I've done the portraiture work, the grads, families, and now I'm starting to get more into weddings. I'm not too sure if I want to do wedding photography, a mix, or doing to wedding filmmaking. So
many avenues you could take, Myles.
There's definitely a lot. It's just the biggest, also to go back to the previous question with things you have trouble, is also budgeting. Is, you know, making sure that you're allocating enough funds, especially when you're doing it full time, that okay, well, I'm saving money along with not spending too much money on the things that I wish I had, especially when you watch a lot of YouTube videos and the newest gear, the newest equipment comes out. I'm sure that you need to paint either brushes or air guns or something along that. And it's like, oh, I wish I had that, but I kind of have to wait.
Oh yeah, that was definitely a big concern, especially when we first started, because our supplies and our brushes and our paints definitely ate up a big chunk of our profit margin. So that's when we looked into, can we wholesale these items and get it for ourselves at wholesale price, and then also turn around, sell it, and make some profit from other DIYers like ourselves. So
that's cool. Gosh, I mean, you guys have such similar, you know, stories in the sense of like Joni, you've been the same way, where like you started small, but now you're like selling paint, you're like branching off, and it's like it just keeps spiraling into new adventures for yourself as an entrepreneur, which I think is really cool. So
yeah, it is really cool. I may have to call you, Myles, because we may need some photos.
I will definitely be here. I'm located in Kansas City, so
nice. We're getting ready to open an online store, so that's definitely a whole new avenue for us, and we may need some guidance on that. I may reach out to you for that.
Okay, well, I'm available anytime. That's one thing I've done just a little bit, has been product photos, but obviously it's been more of small things and not necessarily furniture. So
yeah. See, students, this is how you network. Meeting new people can help you in so many ways.
Yes, we love
it. Okay, so Joni and I want to know from your perspective, Myles, what advice you would give future UCM entrepreneurs or a new students that would maybe want a side hustle of some sort? Like, what advice would you give them?
Oh, advice. Don't be hard on yourself. I think when it comes to, depending on what you do, when you look at other brands or other people or the same people that are in the same category as you, and you see the type of products that they're producing, the content that they're producing, the items, don't be too hard on yourself, because otherwise it can lead into a depression. I've definitely been there, just feeling like my photos aren't good enough, that like, this necessarily isn't worth posting. But it's being able to overcome that negative self-talk. Really, that's exactly it. It's negative self-talk. So
I can imagine that probably does help, like, happen a lot with entrepreneurs, because you're starting something brand new that's from the ground up, and maybe you have this interest, or you have this skill or talent that you're trying to learn more about, and you obviously are going to compare yourself to others. Joni, have you had any of that happen? Like you and Robin, have you guys experienced any of that before?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There are so many beautiful furniture artists out there, and looking at what they do and what we can do, we're getting there, but it's a slow process. It's a learning process, but definitely we've had the same struggles with feeling like, is our stuff good enough to put it out there? Is it good enough to sell? Are people really going to buy it? And that's really scary. But I will say, and you probably have felt this too, Myles, but when you do sell a piece, or you do sell a photo package and somebody loves it, and it was your vision that somebody paid money for, it is the most rewarding, satisfying feeling, and it really does boost you to keep going. But yeah, the negative talk definitely is something to work through, because if you just look at your competitors all the time and don't just take yourself for your own value, it is hard to stay positive and not get lost in that comparison to others. But that's for sure. We've worked through that too. Yeah.
It's really knowing your worth, to feel that depending on what you do, selling items, that you're confident in the work that you put in, what you did to restore this item, and confident in your price. Because I've had plenty of people that have asked me, well, are there any discounts? Are there any friend discounts? Are you sure? Just trying to work a deal. And so, in a sense, when you go out and buy a car, the price is the price that you pay at the lot. When you go buy a new pair of sneakers from Foot Locker, Finish Line, Champs, the price is the price. So you have to be steadfast, firm, steady in what you feel that you're worth.
It's so crazy, because totally different industries, but we have so many parallels, because we struggle with that too. People call us all the time, hey, will you take such and such amount for that piece? And we're like, sorry, we can't. We have time and money and materials invested in that, and that's really, that's our bottom dollar. And I think the days of haggling are behind us for the most part, but we definitely, in our industry, and it sounds like you do too, still have people that do want to cut the price. And if it's something that we don't have a big investment in, and we can, we do try to work with people the best we can, but we know that bottom dollar, just like you do, where that cutoff has to be to make it worth your time and your investment and your money and your materials.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I feel like, especially, I have a piece of Joni's furniture in my house, and I felt like what you priced at was very fair for the quality that you were giving me, and the quality of the piece of furniture, before you even, painted it and everything. And my cousin is also a photographer, and I think when she was getting started, she, was doing more of that discount deals to get her name out there. But now, she charges a good amount for a wedding, and as she should, because I think if you want quality product, you gotta cough up the money for it. So that makes sense. yeah, that's great advice from both of you to our students. So
Yeah, but I'm sure, Myles, I'm just like anybody else, I'm always happy to answer any questions from any students at any time. If
yeah,
anybody has anything they want to bounce off of, I'm sure either one of us, but it is definitely challenging. It's time consuming, but it's also so rewarding to see your dreams kind of come true. So
Yeah.
that's a really great way to put it, Joni. And it seems like we have more and more students that are interested in the side hustle, becoming their own boss. They don't want the traditional Monday through Friday, but it seems like a lot of people that have the side hustle also have that full time. Like my cousin, she works at CarMax Monday through Friday, but she does the photography on the weekends. So it's hard to live off that one income of that side hustle sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a reality I think students have to understand as well. So
yeah, knowing that you have to put in the time and the effort and work your way up, just like you do if you were working for a corporation and work your way up the ladder. It's kind of that way with this too. You have to really build step at a time to build that business.
Absolutely. Well, Myles, do you have any more advice for our career readiness students or anybody that watches our YouTube channel on just starting a side hustle or being a young entrepreneur?
I think taking your time and not comparing yourself to anybody else, and try to limit the negative self-talk. Sometimes depending on who you are as a person, that the negative self-talk can be a positive, but for someone else that is not, say, as confident, could potentially have trouble with that. So I would honestly say, take your time, watch the negative self-talk.
Yeah, don't give up.
And don't give up. Yeah.
Yeah, don't give up. That's a good way to end it for sure. So, well, Myles, we appreciate you so much taking time out of your day. I know you're busy to talk to our career readiness students. I know you enjoyed the class. And hopefully these new students coming in for fall and spring will enjoy it as well. If you want to get connected with Myles, please reach out to anybody in the Career Services Center. He's on LinkedIn as well, so you can reach out to him there. I'm sure he'd be happy to connect with any UCM current students to talk more about his side hustle and owning his own small business. So so thank you for coming in and meeting with us today, Myles. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're certainly welcome. Anything. I love UCM and I love being in your class. It was definitely a help. It was definitely a help. So
awesome. All right. I'm going to stop recording now.